The park was quiet that morning, just rustling leaves, distant laughter, and the soft footsteps of a little girl wandering through the golden autumn paths. She was chasing a butterfly when she suddenly froze. Someone was watching her. A faint whimper, a tiny cry. She turned toward the sound and saw him, a German shepherd puppy, barely breathing, tied tightly to a tree. His ribs showed. His eyes were cloudy. His tail didn't even move when he saw her. The girl dropped to her knees. "It's okay. I'm here," she whispered. But as she reached out her small hand, the puppy did something unexpected, something that made her gasp and run for help. What happened next didn't just shock the neighbors. It shocked the entire town. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The park was quiet that early autumn morning, covered in a soft blanket of golden leaves. Sunlight filtered through the branches, painting warm patterns on the ground, as a little girl in a bright pink outfit wandered between the trees. She wasn't looking for anything, just chasing drifting leaves and humming to herself. Then she heard it, a tiny sound, barely a whisper, a trembling, fragile whimper that didn't belong to the wind. She stopped in her tracks, her small head tilted. She listened again. There it was, weak, desperate. Curiosity pulled her toward the old oak tree at the edge of the path. As she stepped closer, she saw him, a tiny German shepherd puppy, tied tightly to the trunk with a rough rope digging into his neck. His ears drooped. His body trembled. His breathing came in soft, painful gasps. The little girl's eyes widened. She dropped to her knees without hesitation. "Hi?" she whispered gently. "Are you okay?" The puppy didn't bark, didn't growl. He only lifted his gaze, eyes glossy and pleading. Then, with all the strength he had left, he raised one tiny paw and placed it on her hand, begging silently for help. The girl's heart shattered in an instant. Everything changed in that moment. The little girl gently touched the rope around the puppy's neck. It was rough, tight, and knotted in a way no child or innocent animal could have done accidentally. She tugged at it with her small hands, but it wouldn't budge. The puppy whimpered louder, his tiny body trembling with exhaustion. "You're hurting?" "I'm sorry," she whispered, voice cracking. Realizing she couldn't free him alone, she sprang to her feet and ran toward the playground. "Mom! Mom!" she cried, breathless and desperate. Her mother rushed over, alarmed. "What's wrong?" "A puppy! He's dying!" the girl gasped, tugging her mother's hand. Within seconds, a few nearby parents and joggers followed them back to the tree. When they saw the puppy, the group fell silent. His ribs showed through his thin fur. His breathing was shallow. His paws were scraped and bloody, as if he'd tried to escape all night. A man stepped closer, but the puppy weakly shrank back, terrified. The girl knelt beside him again. "It's okay. I'm here now," she soothed. For the first time, his tail twitched, just barely. A neighbor called the nearest vet. "We need help immediately," she shouted into the phone. "This puppy won't make it much longer." Moments later, a veterinarian arrived with emergency supplies. One look at the puppy and her expression changed completely. "If we don't move him now," she said urgently, "he may not survive the next hour." Fear rippled through the crowd. But for the little girl, the fear felt personal. She wasn't going to lose him. The veterinarian scooped the weak puppy into her arms and hurried toward her van. "Come with me," she told the girl. "Sometimes familiar voices help animals fight." The little girl followed without hesitation, climbing into the back seat as her mother rushed behind. The puppy lay limp on a soft towel, eyes half closed, breathing uneven. The girl gently held his paw. "Please stay," she whispered. "Please don't leave me." Halfway to the clinic, the puppy suddenly let out a sharp cry. His body jerked, legs trembling uncontrollably. "He's crashing!" the vet shouted. "Hold his paw so he knows he's not alone." The girl's hands shook as she held him tighter. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Don't go. Don't go. You're safe now," she repeated, her voice trembling but steady. The van swerved into the clinic parking lot. The vet rushed the puppy inside, barking orders. "Fluids! Oxygen! Now!" The girl tried to follow, but a nurse gently stopped her. "Honey, let them work." She waited outside the treatment room, tiny fists clenched, heart pounding so loudly she could hear it in her ears. Through the small window, she saw the vet working frantically, wrapping him, cleaning wounds, inserting tubes. The puppy twitched, then stilled. For a terrifying moment, everything fell silent. Then the monitor beeped. Once, twice, steady. The vet exhaled in relief. She opened the door and knelt in front of the girl. "He's fighting," she said softly, "because he heard your voice. He wants to live." The little girl wiped her tears. "I'm not leaving him," she whispered. And she didn't. For 2 days, the little girl visited the clinic every morning, carrying drawings and small treats she hoped the puppy would enjoy someday. The vet allowed her to sit quietly beside the recovery cage, where the puppy, now stable, lifted his head whenever he heard her tiny footsteps. On the 3rd day, everything changed. The vet entered the room holding a clipboard, her expression tight. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "we found something." She held up a small microchip scanner. The girl blinked. "What's that?" "A way to see who we belong to." The vet pressed the scanner against the puppy's neck. It beeped immediately, too quickly. The vet frowned and read the information on the screen. Her eyes widened. This isn't normal," she whispered. The girl's mother stepped closer. "What does it say?" The vet hesitated, then spoke carefully. "He's registered to a breeder outside the city, but not a normal one. This address, it's flagged in our system." "Flagged?" the mother repeated. The vet nodded gravely. "For illegal dog fighting." The girl covered her mouth, horrified. "No, he's just a baby." But the vet continued, voice soft but firm. "Someone tried to use him. When he didn't fight back, he was probably considered useless, and they abandoned him." The girl felt tears burning behind her eyes. She reached through the cage bars, and the puppy weakly pressed his nose into her palm. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't dangerous. He was a victim. The vet stood up. "Authorities are getting involved. We're opening an investigation." The girl tightened her hand gently around the puppy's paw. "They can't take him back," she whispered, and in her eyes, a spark of determination lit. The days that followed felt like a long, fragile battle. The puppy, now resting in a clean, warm cage, fought quietly for his life, his tiny chest rising and falling with effort. Every morning the little girl arrived with the same soft whisper, "I'm here. Don't be scared." And every time the puppy's ears twitched, responding only to her voice. The vet noticed it first. "He perks up when she talks. His heart rate stabilizes. She's helping him heal." The girl smiled shyly, slipping her hand through the bars. The puppy scooted closer, placing his paw on hers, his new way of saying he wasn't giving up. Slowly, his progress showed. He drank water without help. He took a few shaky steps. And one morning, for the first time, his tail wagged, weak, wobbly, but full of hope. The vet beamed. He's getting stronger. He's responding because he feels safe. But the authorities also returned that day. Once the investigation is finished, he'll need a new home, an officer said gently. He can't go back to where he was. The little girl's heart thudded. She looked at the puppy, his soft eyes watching her like she was the only steady thing in his world. Can he stay with us?" she asked quietly. Her mother hesitated. A puppy meant responsibility, training, time. But the way he pressed against the girl's hand, the way she whispered promises to him, made it impossible to say no. The bond between them wasn't accidental. It was destiny. A week later, the clinic buzzed with quiet excitement. The little girl pushed open the door, clutching a small toy she'd bought for the puppy. She wasn't expecting anything special, just another day sitting beside him, whispering stories while he healed. But today felt different. The vet met her at the hallway with a warm smile. "Come with me," she said softly. "There's someone waiting for you." The girl hurried into the recovery room and stopped in shock. The puppy wasn't lying weakly in his cage anymore. He was standing, wobbly but determined, tail wagging furiously the moment he saw her. She dropped to her knees. "You're walking!" she cried, tears flooding her eyes. The puppy stumbled toward her, pressing his head into her lap as if saying, "I kept fighting because of you." Then her mother stepped forward, holding a stack of papers, adoption forms. "Honey," she whispered, "the officers said you can take him home, if you still want to." The girl gasped, covering her mouth. "Really?" The vet nodded. "He chose you the moment you found him." The puppy barked softly, pawing at her hand. She hugged him tightly, burying her face in his fur. "You're safe now," she whispered. "I promise. You'll never be alone again." The room filled with smiles, tears, and camera flashes. A dying puppy saved by a little girl, and a little girl forever changed by the puppy she refused to give up on.